We are live. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon to some of you. Today, we will be discussing how the stimulus talks and negotiations are basically starting to fall apart, and how California now is entering into its second phase of lockdowns and having small businesses shutting down, and what will be the impact that will have on the economy and on small businesses going forward, and also how this virus and pandemic is accelerating the migration that's happening out of many of these liberal blue states, such as California, New York, Illinois, to name a few, and how they're migrating to into a lot of red states, such as Texas, Arizona, Georgia, and Florida. And all of this ties into the Great Reset. See, you can't just look at what's right in front of you. If you've been following me on this channel, I've been highlighting and telling you how the Great Reset's going to hit you in different waves, right? Because it's designed to break you down psychologically over time and to get you to feed on yourself. And what's going to happen with a lot of this migration that you're going to start to see is that the progressives and liberals that leave these blue states, what they're going to do is they are going to bring their politics and their life values and the morality with them to these red states, which is further going to drive tension amongst ourselves. And that's one of the biggest things that you can take away from this election. When you look at the popular vote, how close it was, America is truly divided. And if you wanted to attack someone, you don't attack them head on. You attack them from within and you make them feed on themselves. Because, see, the whole idea about the Great Reset and the strategy is to create polarization and to strip out the middle. So you will no longer have a middle class in this country economically. You are either rich or you are either poor. If you disagree with Black Lives Matter, if you have any questions against the ideology or the message or what they're trying to do, you're racist. There is no room to debate or negotiate. If you are against Antifa, you are automatically labeled a fascist. If you don't believe that men should be able to use the female restroom or that men should not be able to use the female locker room, you're automatically labeled as transphobic or homophobic, right? It's designed to strip out all conversation, right? As a Black man, knowing the history of this country with vaccines and experimenting with the Tuskegee experiment, if I have any question against taking a vaccine, I'm automatically labeled a conspiracy theorist or an anti-vaxxer. The whole thing is designed to strip out conversation. So you and I can no longer engage in civil discourse and have conversation. It's either it's black or it's white. So what that will do is that will further cause division. Then the next step is strip out borders. No longer having sovereignty, no longer having borders, no longer having a nation, flooding this country with illegals. That will further take your jobs, bring down your standard of living. This is all a part of the Great Reset. Then getting you on government health care, stripping out the idea of choosing your own health care or your health providers. The government will tell you what is adequate health insurance. Then devaluing the currency, creating a cashless society, getting you to the point where there's no longer cash. You have to use the central bank digital currency where they will be able to track and monitor everything in every facet of your life will be controlled by government. Now, I'm not here to tell you if this is right, if this is moral. I'm not here to debate politics. We are beyond Republican versus Democrat debates. We're dealing with the left and the right wing of the same bird flying towards the same destination. If you at this point are not awakened to the problems and the ills and the dark days that will be facing us as a society, then I really don't know what to tell you, because all of the data, the information is in your face. When you can come here and you see this is a New York Times magazine, I'm not some Alex Jones, Bilderberg, reptilian, shapeshifting aliens are going to come get you. No. This is the front page of the Time magazine. And it says, The Great Reset. You will own nothing. You will take a vaccine. Every part of your social activity, your economic activity will be monitored and tracked. And if you disagree, if you try to push back, they will lock you out of the system. This is here now. This is not coming 10 years later. It's here. 1984 isn't coming. It's here. A Brave New World is not coming. It is here. And for those of us who have been preparing for this, for those of us who understand that dark days are ahead, we will thrive in these environments. For those of us who have been investing accordingly, stocking up on supplies, buying precious metals, investing in crypto, getting and partnering with groups of people, having backup plans, we will thrive. As I said to you plenty of times, it will be the best of times for some of us. It will be the worst of times for many. It really just depends on where you are. When you look at what's happening in California, how they are shutting down people's businesses, we're going to get into the video of the lady who literally, her business is right next to an entire Hollywood movie setup where they are allowing Hollywood to still operate, but forcing small and medium-sized businesses to shut down. This is our 9/11. After 9/11, the world completely changed, and we introduced the TSA and introduced the Patriot Act. They didn't roll back those rules and regulations. They didn't roll back the TSA. They scaled it up. And that's exactly what's going to happen with this pandemic that we're going through. Understand that you will not be able to fly unless you are vaccinated. They will have some type of a card system put together for you where you would have to, in order for you to go back to school, in order for you to go to work, you are going to have to show that you are vaccinated. I truly believe that they are not going to allow you to use the religious exemption excuse anymore. I truly believe that we are going into some type of a social credit system similar to what they have in China. So it's very, very important that we start paying attention to this type of stuff. So I've been on this channel now for months now, years. If you go back to my original videos telling you guys to get prepared for these things, and now it's here. So now it's just a matter of, what are you going to do for this? I don't claim to have all of the answers, but I understand that the Great Reset isn't a good answer. We do need a reset, but not what they have for us, because see, they have mastered the art of problem, reaction, solution, where either you create a problem or you know that there's a problem and you allow that problem to grow so big that then people will react and they will beg for government. They will beg for help. They will plead for it. And then you come in with the solution, problem, reaction, solution. And then after that, we know that the solution never is truly in our favor. So please do me a favor as you come into the live stream or you rewatch this live stream. Please like this video, share this video, subscribe. Make sure that you hit the notification bell and you set it to all so that you can receive all of my notifications when I go live. Also, make sure that you join my mailing list so that I can email you when I'm going live, because YouTube will not send out my notifications when I talk about stuff like this because they do not want this type of information getting out here. So it's important that you're on my mailing list so that I can email you when I am going live. Also, if you want to contact me and dialogue with me, a link to my Instagram is in the description below. Simply click the link, follow me, shoot me a DM, and you and I can begin to dialogue. If you are interested in learning about cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology, or even learning how to code and develop, we have My Tech Academy that I created. We have a free 7-day trial going on right now. I would encourage all of you, come test it out, take a look at it, see if you like it, and you are more than welcome to stick around. If you have any investing questions, ideas, you want to book a consultation with me, simply come over to mytechacademy.io, book a consultation, and we'll go from there. Again, for those of you who are lifetime members, some of you are not inside of our Slack group. Guys, you paid your money. please come to the Slack group. All right. So with that being said, if you can see me and hear me clearly, type 1 and we can get started. Okay. So we are good to go. So this article is from December 5th, 2020. And don't worry, I'm not going to read the whole article. I want to get into a lot of videos today to really dive a little bit deeper. It says, even before COVID, 2,600 people a week were leaving New York City. Whether it's wealthy people fleeing to their second homes or college students forced to move back in with their parents, the virus has set off a great migration in the United States this year. But in many cases, it's just amplifying trends that were already there. And remember, even if you look at what's happening economically, these problems existed before the virus. Too much debt and leverage in the system existed before the virus. The Fed manipulating interest rates and manipulating the market through the repo market and quantitative easing, all these things were happening pre-pandemic. The pandemic is just the pen to accelerate these things for it to happen. It says New York City, for example, was losing 376 residents per day to domestic migration in 2019, an increase of more than 100 per day from the previous year, before it became the epicenter of the country's virus outbreak in March this year, according to the U.S. Census Bureau's latest survey of population shift. So this was already happening, as I said, prior to what's going on with the virus. California was losing 260 people per day. New York was losing 376 per day. And then look where they're going. Phoenix, Arizona, they're going into Texas, they're going into Georgia, and they're going into Florida. Again, this is meant to drive polarization and cause polarization because you're taking people from big liberal cities who they have a different lifestyle, they have different life values, different morality, and you're going to shoehorn them in to these predominantly red states, red districts, and red counties. And again, also flooding these counties with illegals. All of this is meant to further cause polarization because in red states, they're not as liberal as liberals are. And they're going to bring their politics with them. Now, the excuse is going to be, well, they're going down there because the cost of living is lower, or they're going down there because they don't have any state income tax in Florida and Texas. Those issues may be true, and that may be one of the factors. But again, you're not looking at the lifestyle factors. A person leaving New York City is accustomed to a certain type of lifestyle. And the politics that destroyed New York City and the politics and policies that destroyed California, they are going to try to bring those down to the South. So this is why you have to be mindful of these things. See, I am beyond debating politics and policy. Republicans are bad, Democrats are bad, right? You have to understand where we're going with this. It's meant to cause confusion. As I said earlier, if you disagree with Black Lives Matter, you're automatically labeled a racist, period. If you are a Black person that questions anything that's going on with the LGBTQ community, you have toxic masculinity. If you disagree with Antifa, you're a fascist. If you don't believe that males should be able to use the female restroom, you're transphobic. If you don't believe that you should be forced to take a vaccine, then you're an anti-vaxxer, right? Now think about this. What's the purpose of you taking the vaccine? If I don't take it, I'm a danger to you. If you've taken the vaccine, shouldn't the vaccine protect you from me? Shouldn't enough of you who are taking the vaccine have herd immunity? So then therefore, I should not be a threat to you. See, as a Black man in this country, I understand the Tuskegee experiment and what that did to Black people and how we've been used as guinea pigs time and time again. So excuse me if I'm skeptical about taking your vaccine that you created in a year, but it's meant to remove the middle and create it where you cannot have debate. You cannot have conversation. It's either you will do what we tell you to do, or you will be kicked out of the system. Again, moving into a cashless society. Why do we want that? Because if we have a cashless society, we have a central bank digital currency, I can control where you spend your money and what you do. And if you don't agree and don't bend to my will, I'll just lock you out the system. You got to pay attention to all of these things. And this is why crypto is so important, because you need decentralization. Centralization has led us to this point, right? I just want to read two more paragraphs and then we'll go to the next article. It says, New York's population decline has been building up before COVID, said Justin Hollander, a professor of urban and environmental policy and planning at Tufts University in Massachusetts. It will certainly accelerate as preferences for lower density environments drives populations. The shrinking of New York would be significantly faster without international arrivals. Last year, almost 60,000 cross-border migrants moved there. Only Miami had more, while 200,000 residents left. So we brought in 60,000 cross-border migrants into New York and 200,000 residents left New York. And again, you're going to keep seeing this trend happening over and over again. It says Los Angeles and Chicago were among other cities to see daily departures in triple digits last year. Both have been losing population since 2017. So again, as I said before, I'm not sitting up here and selling you something that is some conspiracy theory, right? Like, they were at the World Economic Forum in Davos, and they were saying it's time for a great reset. It's here. This is no longer conspiracy theory. Now, it says, will there be a second stimulus check before the end of the year? Just think about how I can't even come up with a word to describe just how disgusting this is, that they structured the stimulus benefits to expire the day after Christmas up into the new year. So now millions of Americans are set to lose so many of the protections that they had underneath the stimulus package, the CARES Act. Think about this for a second. Millions of Americans are set to lose their unemployment insurance benefits, their mortgage forbearance, their student loan forbearance, their sick leave protection, and most importantly, the eviction moratorium. It will be lifted come January 1st. So many Americans potentially are facing losing their homes, losing their unemployment insurance benefits, losing their forbearance benefits for their student loans during the holiday season. So you can't even sit back and relax and enjoy yourselves. Now, follow me here, because see, this is important. On top of that, they're locking you down in states like California. But Nancy Pelosi can go to the beauty salon during lockdowns. Gavin Newsom, who's going to put you and your small business out of business by causing these lockdowns. They're not giving you any aid to shut your business down. Yet he's going to his friend's 50th birthday party with no mask on. Don't believe me? Let me just show you. Right here. This came out weeks ago. This is him. Because see, they're gods. They don't have to follow the same rules and regulations that you have to follow because you're a slave. Now, the pandemic is supposed to be so dangerous. If you just walk outside, oh my God, you're just going to catch it. You'll die immediately. None of these people have on masks. None of these people have on masks. This is the governor of California who told you you can't come outside and you have to shut down your business. So you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your home. You're going to lose your entire livelihood. But he can go to a dinner. They can have a birthday party because they're rich. They're gods. You can't. No. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm an agent. I'm a coon. I'm a Sambo. I'm Uncle Tom. I'm a self-hating black man. All of those things that you call me, all of the people who you troll me in these comments. Explain that. You have to sit and worry how you're going to feed your family. They're eating at a fancy steak restaurant. Probably drop thousands of dollars on dinner. But I don't know what I'm talking about. Because I don't have a PhD in finance. I'm not an economist, so why listen to me, right? What do I know? This is Nancy Pelosi right here. No mask on. While they have shutdowns, right? You can't go get your hair done. Yes, this is old footage, but there's a pattern here. There's a pattern here. Why does she get to go and get her hair done? And her hair, she was able to go get her necessities taken care of in the middle of a pandemic that's so dangerous, but you can't. You have to shut your business down. Let's look at this lady. I want to play this real quick for you because this is important. Let's look at this.
So this is my place, the Pineapple Hill Grill and Saloon. If you go to my page, you can see all the work I did for outdoor dining, for tables being 7 feet apart. And I come in today because I'm organizing a protest and I came in to get stuff for that. And I walk into my parking lot and obviously Mayor Garcetti has approved this. Has approved this being set up for a movie company. I'm losing everything. Everything I own is being taken away from me. And they set up a movie company right next to my outdoor patio, which is right over here. And people wonder why I'm protesting and why I have had enough. They have not given us money and they have shut us down. We cannot survive. My staff cannot survive. Look at this. Tell me that this is dangerous, but right next to me as a slap in my face, that's safe. This is safe. 50 feet away. This is dangerous. Mayor Garcetti and Gavin Newsom is responsible for every single person that doesn't have unemployment, that does not have a job, and all the businesses that are going under. And we need your help. We need somebody to do something about this.
You know, a part of me wants to sit up here and say that she got what she deserved because she's probably a liberal, but I don't know that, right? And I don't want to come out and just attack people because I understand this is this is tough times and a lot of people are going through things, and I don't want to use this as an "I told you so" moment, and I don't want to sit up here and attack people, right? Because it's only going to get worse. But you have to ask yourself a fundamental question. Is she wrong for what she's saying? Why does a Hollywood studio get to have their setup right there, but she can't? Why is certain businesses deemed essential, or certain restaurants who happen to have political affiliations, why are they deemed essential and small businesses are not deemed essential? What did I tell you? It's meant to crush small businesses. That's what the Great Reset is about. No middle ground. No room for conversation. I told you coming out of this, we are going to have three major retailers in this country. Technology was already creating this trend anyway. There will be Amazon, Walmart, maybe Target, maybe. That's it. Klaus said it. You will own nothing and you will love it. I didn't say that. He said that. This trend was already happening. I've been screaming on this channel for months now. This is going to accelerate so many different things. I am not saying that COVID is not real. What I'm saying is that the response and the reaction and how politicians are playing politics with this, and they're using this to crush out the competition and hollow out the middle class and force people to be dependent upon government. I guarantee you, as soon as the stock market starts to come down, I guarantee you a stimulus package will get passed. I guarantee you the Fed and the plunge protection team, they'll create all type of lending facilities. They'll find the funding if that stock market starts coming down. So it goes to show you where does your politicians' priorities lie? Why do they want to wait until the economy starts to tank to give you the stimulus? We know that they're going to print the money out of thin air. We know that they're going to give you the stimulus. We know that they're going to do it. So why are they playing this long drawn out game? Because it's about control. It's about controlling you. It's about problem, reaction, solution, inflicting as much pain as they can on you. That's what it's about. But again, you get the government that you deserve because you get the government that you voted for. There's no way that you can tell me in this country of 300 million plus people that Donald Trump and Joe Biden are the two best people that we could come up with to solve the problems in this country, to lead this country. There's no way. So again, this is not a Republican-Democrat debate. Both parties have failed you. And if you can't see that, then I don't know what to tell you. Both parties have failed you. Now, let's listen to what Rahm Emanuel said back in 2008. See, I'm an OG, man. I've been doing this for a long time. So although I am young, I've been researching and studying this stuff since I was 19 years old. I've been on the End the Fed movements, the Don't Tread on Me. And yes, there's a racial undertone to those groups. Can't deny it. There definitely is racism in those groups, but there's information that's valuable. So Ron Paul and Rand Paul, they've been speaking about these problems for years now. Even Alex Jones, he's definitely mentally unstable, but some of the things that he says is true. Some of the things that he says are true. So let's listen to what Rahm Emanuel has to say.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before. I think America as a whole. You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before. I think America as a whole in 1973 and 1974, and not just my view, but obviously the administration, missed the opportunity to deal with the energy crisis that was before us. For a long time, our entire energy policy came down to cheap oil. This is an opportunity, what used to be long-term problems, be they in the healthcare area, energy area, education area, fiscal area, tax area, regulatory reform area, things that we had postponed for too long that were long-term are now immediate and must be dealt with. And
this was Obama's previous, I believe he was the chief of staff with Obama. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that he was also the mayor of Chicago. This is Rahm Emanuel. Again, liberal, big city, blue state, policies are failing. Problem, reaction, solution. What did he say out of his mouth? Never let a crisis go to waste. They are going to use what's happening, which is real. They will use this as a tool to gain more power economically and politically. It is about controlling you. That's all it's about. It's controlling you. Now, as I said before, and many of you, you get mad at me when I say this, I was exposed to a book by the name of 1984. I believe I was a freshman in high school. And I also read Aldous Huxley's A Brave New World. It is amazing to me how many Americans enjoy bondage. They enjoy slavery. They enjoy it. So many people are lining up, ready to take this vaccine. They don't care what's in it. They just want to get back to their regular lives. They don't care. They don't care that their cell phone tracks everything that they are doing, that the NSA spies on their phone calls. They don't care. Just open up the bars. Open up the clubs. I want to go back to my life. People want to get back to their lives. That's all they care about. They don't care about freedom. They enjoy this. So it's not that I feel I'm speaking as if I'm defeated. That lady's business is shut down and she's not going to do anything about it. They're going to protest. What is a protest going to do? That's nothing. Look how easily they shut down the entire country. Did anyone fight back? Did anyone revolt? Where were the patriots at? Where were the militias at? They were nowhere to be found. They took their $1,200 and they went and sat down. Many of you, you're going to take your vaccine. Your son will wear a dress. Your daughter will grow a mustache. There will be no such thing as a male or female locker room or restroom. And you'll enjoy it. You'll lose your pension. You're going to lose your job. You'll probably lose your house. And you'll enjoy it. Like Claus said, you will own nothing and you will love it. Now, I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong. That's for you to decide. I'm beyond debating about politics and ideology. Think about in terms of investing. What does this mean? Right here. Look at this. Where are we at? Because a lot of people asking, well, what is the Great Reset? Well, here we go.
Today's session. Welcome to this virtual meeting, which has brought together leaders and stakeholders from across the global community for our COVID Action Platform. Today, this meeting serves as a launch pad for the next chapter, the Great Reset. We have contributions from His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, from UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, from IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva, and from many more in the next hour and a quarter. But to get us underway, let's hear from the forum's Executive Chairman and Founder, Professor Klaus Schwab.
Thank you, Adrian. It is obvious that we are in the midst of the most severe crisis the world has experienced since World War II. 75 years ago, countries and people came together to shape the post-war global order, which brought us decades of peace, increased global cooperation, and prosperity to hundreds of millions of people around the world. The COVID-19 crisis has shown us that our old systems are not fit anymore for the 21st century. It has laid bare the fundamental lack of social cohesion, fairness, inclusion, and equality. Now is the historical moment, the time, not only to fight severe virus, but to shape the system for the need for the post-corona era. We have a choice to remain passive, which would lead to the amplification of many of the trends we see today. polarization, nationalism, racism, and ultimately increased social unrest and conflicts. But we have another choice. We can build a new social contract, particularly integrating the next generation. We can change our behavior to be in harmony with nature again. And we can make sure that the technologies of the fourth industrial revolution are best utilized to provide us with better lives. In short, we need a great reset. We have to mobilize all constituents of our global society to work together. We must not miss this unique window of opportunity. For this reason, I'm grateful that we are joined for this announcement of the Great Reset Initiative, not only by His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, but by representatives of international organizations, business, trade unions, scientists, and above all, the young generation. Now we have the very special message from the United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres.
So I want to be clear here. Did you hear the last thing that he said? We are joined by international organizations, by international business people, men and women, by the Prince of Wales, Your Royal Highness. Think about that. This isn't a movie. I see a lot of you talking about a Marvel movie. This is real. The Great Reset is real. This is not a joke. This is the front cover of Time magazine. I'm not sitting up here talking to you about reptilian shape-shifting aliens from Planet X that's coming from another dimension. I'm not talking to you about no foolishness like that. I'm talking to you about what's real, what's here in your face. Dark days are ahead. Millions of Americans are getting ready to lose their stimulus benefits and protections. They're talking about a $908 billion stimulus. Follow me here. They're saying that they are going to pass a stimulus bill with no stimulus checks. Listen to what they're saying. They're debating about passing a stimulus bill with no stimulus checks. They gave you $1,200 back in March. They're shutting down people's businesses, affecting your ability to go work and earn a living, and forcing you to have to depend on the government that can't even make its mind up about funding the government. Now, I've been breaking this down. The first stimulus package wasn't big enough, and it wasn't targeted enough. And then you were supposed to get another one back in the summertime that you did not get. So you're already a stimulus and a half behind. And now they're saying that they may pass a stimulus with no stimulus checks for you. Now, we just watched them. The Fed came out 7 trillion here, 3 trillion here. Think about this now. You have to really start thinking about this. I'm going to repeat this again because I think that this is important. This is Gavin Newsom. He's going to dinner. Him, his family, his friends. While you're in California, you're locked down in your home. And they're spending thousands of dollars to eat. Think about the health effects and the psychological effects that lockdowns will have on people. I was reading an article the other day. They said more people committed suicide in Japan in the previous month than actually died from COVID. So these things are important. And this is a trend because look, Elon Musk is moving to Texas. Joe Rogan moved to Texas. right? So it's not like I'm just making this stuff up and I'm cherry picking things and I'm just, pulling things out. The data is backing up what I'm saying. People were fleeing these urban, densely populated states and cities prior to COVID. This is just accelerating the pace, and it's only going to cause even more problems. Because again, I'm going to keep stressing this. People with failed ideologies and failed politics are going to bring their life values and their morality and their value systems to these red states. There we go. It's all here in your face. You can no longer deny it. There is no longer a debate about what's happening here. Again, people keep asking, what is the Great Reset? What is the Great Reset? The Great Reset is about destroying the West, hollowing out the West, reducing your standard of living, forcing you to be dependent upon government, world socialism, world communism, world Marxism. That's what they're going for. Right? That's what it's about, reducing your standard of living. What do you think the Green New Deal is about? What do you think global warming and reducing your carbon footprint is about? It's reducing your consumption, reducing your standard of living. What do you think a central bank digital currency is about? What do you think dollar devaluation is about? What do you think government healthcare is about? It's about controlling what you get and how you get it and how much you get. Beck Nod just said, I'm in Cali. Answer, have been here my whole life. I am leaving next year. There we go. It's here. It's in your face. So again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, because a lot of you come on here and you try to debate with me and argue with me about, communism, capitalism, socialism. Yes, I agree. It's about having sound money. If we had sound money, then it really didn't matter what ism you was living underneath. Yes, the quality of life would be better, but these things are done by design. You can't get it wrong for this long by mistake. Ben Bernanke, Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell, Henry Paulson, right? Timothy Geithner, Rahm Emanuel, all of these different people in politics who create policy and finance and politics, etc. These are not stupid people. You can't get it. A monkey throwing darts at a board could eventually get it right. This is being done by design. This is being done intentionally. And if you can't see that, then at what point are you going to eventually, get this? He says, what was said about Joe Rogan? I missed it. Joe Rogan moved from California to Texas. He moved his whole podcast and everything to Texas. Elon Musk is moving to Texas. So I'm just showing you that this is not me just cherry picking. The data is telling you these things. It's happening right before our very eyes. Here's another business. I'll show you this video.
On why the judge said no.
Here on this cafe.
Tavarius, is everything okay?
Okay. Our government leaders have abandoned me.
Are you the owner?
$4 trillion of stimulus money. They gave it to who? Special interest groups and campaign donors. I'm Dave Morris. I own the place.
So what's going on?
What's going on? You know what's going on.
Tell me. You tell me.
Hey, we got a government that has taken the stimulus money. They gave it to special campaign donors. They gave it to special interests. They abandoned me, and they have put me in a position where I have to fight back. Okay?
So do you feel that this is the right thing to do?
Absolutely. I feel everybody needs to stand up. Hey, listen, there was enough money to give every family in this country $20,000 to go home for 2 months. They chose to give it to special interests and campaign donors, the Kennedy Space Center, and they abandoned us. So you could have given me money. I'd gladly walk away for 60 days and let this virus settle down. I'm not going to do it alone. Okay?
Are you going to continue to violate the state's orders and
This
stay
is
open?
a state order. This isn't an order. This is a conspiracy. This is a tyranny.
What do you want to tell other restaurant owners who
Wake up. Stand up. This is America. Be free. I got patriots coming out supporting me.
You heard he said, be free. It's too late for that.
The details on why.
Talk about be free. when Eric Snowden and Julius and when Eric Snowden and Julian Assange released those documents and released those cables, that told you everything that you needed to know about your government. Everything that you needed to know. If that didn't wake you up to what the NSA was doing and how they're spying on you, then nothing at this point is going to wake you up or will wake you up. This is why I don't engage in foolish debates about who's the president or about Republican versus Democrat, right? I don't debate that anymore. If you go and you read and you look at the cables and the communications and the amount of corruption that your government has been engaged in, both Republican and Democrat, after listening to and reading those cables and communications, then at that point, the revolution should have happened years ago. If the revolution didn't happen 10 years ago, it's never going to happen, right? So I'm not sitting up here no longer and debating and getting into this foolishness and going back and forth. I focus on how can we profit from this? Because at the end of the day, money cannot buy happiness, but it can damn sure buy you everything else you need, right? Can't buy you happiness, but money can buy me land. It can buy me weapons to protect myself. It can give me redundancies and backup plans for where I need to go. And it can make sure that I can put myself in a proper position to shape my future and my destiny to the best of my ability. And that's what I focus on, right? So make sure that you are preparing yourself as to what's to come. Now, I know what you're saying to yourself, well, what is the whole purpose of this? The purpose of this is to show you the Great Reset is accelerating. It's not slowing down. It's happening. These small businesses and mid-sized businesses will not come back. I've been on this channel and I've been telling you this for a long, long time now. Time and time again. Now is the time to get yourself in order mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Now is the time to be joining communities and tribes of people who are like-minded. Now is not the time to be trying to convince the weak. Now is not the time to be trying to convince the blind. That ship has sailed a long time ago. It's either you are aware and you are awakened to what's going on and you are taking the necessary steps to prepare yourself and your family or those who need to be prepared, or you're not. That's it. The time for debate is over. The Great Reset is here. And you nor I will be able to stop this. The goal is to be hereafter. That's the goal. That's it. There's nothing more to debate. The goal is to be hereafter. The goal is to make sure that you are not blinded by polarization. That's the key. That's the very key thing. That you are not getting caught up into gender identity debates, political ideology, classism, racism, right? Those you're not going to, first of all, because that's human emotion. And part of the Great Reset is meant to drive human emotion, to force conflict, to make you eat yourself from the inside out. That's the best way to win a war. Not to fight, not to engage the enemy. Make them expend their resources on each other. I'm not going to expend my resources debating with you. If you want your son to wear a dress, God bless you. If you want your daughter to grow a mustache, good for you. If you are a man and you want to go to the female's locker room, more power to you. If you want to go riot and burn down your own grocery stores and your own buildings that you live into, who the hell am I to stop you from doing that? If you want to vote for Joe Biden after he worked with segregationists and he passed the 1994 crime bill, who the hell am I to tell you not to? You want to vote for a man that has dementia? Go for it. It's not my place to tell you. to stop you from doing what you want to do. You have the ability and the freedom to pursue whatever you want to. That ship has sailed a long time ago. Thank you for the donation. I greatly appreciate it. It definitely helps free up some time. Alexander Wilson says, I just left DC, the fifth most expensive city in USA. For Maryland, my expenses dropped significantly. I might not move back into a city. I might not never move back into a city. I agree with you, Alexander Wilson. And thank you for the donation. I agree with you 100%. That's why I'm focusing on trying to get out of New York City. I just have a lot of business dealings and relationships here, so it's easier for me. And I have a love-hate relationship with this city because I've spent so much time here that I can't truly imagine myself living anywhere else but New York City. But I think that the time has definitely passed, right? I've definitely worn out my welcome, and it's definitely time for me to go. I've been looking heavily at Texas. I told you guys, in Georgia. So, but with so many liberals and progressives fleeing these urban cities for those places, it's like, well, are you really moving to a different place? And then you still have to always consider racism, because with a lot of, white people feeling like they're losing their standard of living and losing the things that they're losing, they always tend to look for an enemy, right? And it's easy for a Trump or someone to come and basically drive a lot of hate, right? Hate not towards the Federal Reserve. Like if you look at the typical Trump supporter, right, they're not really that keen towards income inequality and what's driving the polarization. They don't really know about fractional reserve banking and the Fed. So they tend to blame, immigrants. They tend to blame black people like myself. So you have to always keep that in the back of your mind too. We don't live in a raceless society, right? Race will always dominate everything. The minute you look at me, I look at you, we're different. We speak different, we live different, we value different things, right? So you can't be blind to race either, right? So you have to be careful with where you go and who you support, right? And this is why, as a black person, it's very hard, because you have to wear and manage so many different hats, right? Republicans are not your friends. Democrats are not your friends. Most black people are broken people, so they can become very dangerous to you. And then you have to look at white people who can become very dangerous to you as well. Immigrants don't respect you. They look at you as stupid because you live in this land and they want to take your place. So we really don't have any allies, right? Like when you really start thinking about it, you're really on an island by yourself, right? So when you take a step back, you have to really be cognizant of that, right? Don't be so quick to run out of one burning house into another, right? So I'm very, very aware of how I, position myself and what I want to gravitate towards. And I really think that many of you need to be doing the same thing. Really, really being careful with who you listen to, who you work with, who you partner with. All of these things matter. All of them matter, because nothing happens in a vacuum. Thank you for the donation to Crypto Wonder Podcast. I applaud your efforts to educate the masses. It will surely pay off, as you know. Preparation is key, and many will sadly be left behind. Keep pushing. I will 100% keep doing that. As I said before, I really created this channel because when I was younger and I came into knowledge of self, I've always had knowledge of self since I was younger. But when I really started diving down this rabbit hole of just all of the things that were going on, it's very easy as a young person to get manipulated and have these people steer you in the right direction. Now is not the time to be afraid. Now is the time to be bold, to be smart, to be strong, to make sure that you're doing the necessary things to clean up your house in order, and making sure that you have the proper resources to thrive in the 21st century and then the fourth industrial revolution. That is the key. That's the only thing that you should be focusing on right now. And we know that technology will be a great driver of the Great Reset. So that's why I stress to you guys getting into tech in any kind of way, whether it's IT, whether it's, hardware, whether it's software, whatever the case may be, getting involved in that in a major way. Biotechnology, medical marijuana space, right? Medical technology, however you want to get involved because that's going to be the future. Pay attention to this. It's here. Right. So I stress that 100%. So I'm going to take a few questions and I'll wrap this up at around 5:30. Guys, please like the video, share the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you set all notifications to all. Follow me on Instagram. Shoot me a DM if you have a conversation. If you want to have a conversation with me. Also, if you're interested in cryptocurrencies, learning about blockchain technology, etc., I created my Tech Academy. We have a free 7-day trial. You are welcome to try it out and see if you like it. And we also have a coding bootcamp going on right now. So I'll take a few questions. Let's look in the chat and see what's going on. And again, thank you to everyone who donated via PayPal or through Super Chat. I keep saying this. I just forget, guys. I'm really, really busy. So definitely will give you guys a shout out for those of you who've been donating via PayPal. This weekend, we're probably going to just have like a good, probably go like 2 hours and just do a Q&A because I have to do a group meeting for everybody that's in the academy. Calvin Tucker, I cannot give you financial advice. I would just speak for myself. There's something known as good debt and bad debt, right? So me personally, if I have bad debt, I would definitely like debt that has high interest rates. That's basically I'm paying it every month and it's only going to the most of the payment is going to interest, not to the principal. I'll try to knock that debt out immediately. If I have good debt, like let's say real estate, cash flowing debt, or debt that I can manage and it's not really affecting my lifestyle, I'll be focusing on investing because your investments should be far outpacing whatever cost you're incurring to hold your debt, right? So me, I'm a big fan and like I flip credit cards, right? So every year and a half, I get a new set of credit cards, right? Because your inquiries roll off every 2 years. So I'll go get a credit that has balance transfers at 0%. It may just charge you a 3% fee. So what I would do is, let's say that I have 0% interest for 18 months. I use that card. I take the money off the card, whatever I need to do, whatever the investment is at 0%. I enjoy 0% interest for 18 months to 24 months. Then after that, once the interest gets ready to kick in, I'll go open up a new credit card and I just roll whatever debt I have on that one credit card over to the next credit card, pay the 3% transfer fee and enjoy 0% interest again, right? So that I love to play the credit card game. That's my game. I love credit cards because it's revolving debt. When you take out a traditional loan, the underwriting process is much stringent. And then the problem with traditional loans is once you pay them down, you can't tap into that line of credit again, right? You would have to go through the underwriting process all over again. So me, I love credit cards. I probably have like 30, 40 different credit cards, right? Like in my businesses, because I open up multiple LLCs, I'll put a personal guarantee on there. I love credit cards because they're revolving. You can always get promotions and you can always keep moving that debt around. So that's what I like to do. So I'm not really a fan of paying down debt. I like to keep the ratios in balance though. Like I'm not saying to you that you should be carrying too much debt that you can't afford to service, right? You should be looking to invest in things or structure your investments where even in the worst case scenario, they can pay for themselves. That's what I like to do, right? That's how I look at things, right? Whether it's investing in real estate with my credit cards, whether it's buying crypto, that's going to make me 1,000% returns. Like that's how I look at things and I structure things. So again, you know, I'm not, this is not financial advice. I guess why I kept saying pay down debt that is costing you money, bad debt, but you know, a good debt can definitely work for you. Like my credit cards are good debt for me. Because again, I'm getting money at 0% interest. And I have some credit cards that got like $60,000 limits on them, right? So that's how I look at things. Right? So again, this isn't for everyone, right? So I just want to be clear here. That's just what I like to do. It's funny, Alexander Wilson said, what tech certificates would you recommend to get? Also, are there any new books that you are reading right now? No, the tech certificate, anything IT related. So I know Google has an IT certificate for free that you can get, and Coursera has certificates. Anything that's based around machine learning, artificial intelligence. Amazon has a free program too that you can get AWS certified. Look that up. So AWS is something good to get. The Google IT certification is good to get. and the Python certification that they have with IT. These, you can also find these on Coursera. I have a video on my channel breaking that down. Those three are the main ones that you should be focusing on, because Amazon, we know they will be a beast and Google will be a beast, right? So getting any type of certification with their stamp approval on it is great, and you can get it for free. Literally just type in Google IT certificate or type in AWS certificate, like 100% across the board. Amazon is actually paying people to get certified in certain states, or if you go through certain nonprofit organizations. And I'll get more information on it if you guys need me to, and I'll put that in the community. I'm actually working on that type of information for my students in the academy, because once many of you learn the basics like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, what's a Boolean, like different primitive data types and stuff like that, once we get to the point where we're really building things, like I'm going to be steering you towards certain certifications in certain places depending on where you want to go. Because as I said before, some of you may be more into data, and analytics. So you may want to go more the Python route, right? Like if you're into AI, machine learning, data, Python, Flash, Django, that's the way to go 100% across the board. And maybe a little bit of Java. If you're into like web design, web development, then you'll be looking more at like JavaScript, front-end design, stuff like that. You could do a little bit of back-end with Node.js, but most people really focus on Python for that type of stuff and PHP. So that's where like really we want to go. But again, to answer your question, AWS certification, the Google IT certification, and the Python Google IT certification is the way to go. And also on Coursera, they have some certifications as well. Coursera is, in my opinion, Coursera is better than Udacity or Udemy certifications because they're professional certifications. And this is something that you definitely have to make sure that you're paying attention to when you are going on these like online platforms to get like, certificates. You have to make sure that they're professional certificates, like meaning that it's for like continuing education for those of you who want to, because you should always be like upgrading your resume, even as a professional, where you get new skills and adding that onto your resume. So that's 100% what I would do. As far as new books, I'm not really reading any books right now. I'm really looking at a lot of research reports and white papers and things of that nature. And I'm reading a book on another book on JavaScript and React.js right now, because I'm putting together a course for that for my students and those of you who want to get on board. Right. Self-made, hold on real quick. Self-made says, with many people moving and losing their jobs, do you think a lot of people move into gaining more skills by moving into tech, or will they remain in the same position? I think that it's very hard to retrain people, right? So in my opinion, I don't think that it's easy to, basically train people. I think that it's very, very hard to pick up a new skill. And I think that that's going to be one of the biggest problems with the Great Reset, especially with technology. Like once you look at Tesla, right? And Tesla perfects the self-driving car, the self-driving bus, the self-driving truck, the self-flying plane. And you have to go and retrain all of these people how to work on these robots and work on, automation technology. Most people are not going to be able to just go and pick up that skill at 40 or 45, right? So I believe that we're definitely going to have a lot of problems with retraining people. And I just don't see a great migration of people that will be coming into the tech space. If you look at software developers right now, currently, there are more jobs available than actual software developers, right? So there's a surplus of available jobs and not enough people to fill those jobs right now today. Now you have to think about the boomers who will be retiring in a great number. So when you start looking at that, that's only going to open up more job opportunities. So I tell people this all the time, because I had a troll come onto my video and he was like, oh, you really think that they're going to take a self-taught developer over someone from MIT? How many people graduate from MIT every year with a degree in computer science or engineering? Not many. And most likely people who come from there, from those type of schools, they're going to get like high level type of jobs working at Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google. But guess what? Government, they need software engineers and developers as well too, right? Your small to mid-sized business needs engineers as well too, and software developers, people who design apps. Like people think like you have to go to MIT or like Harvard or Yale, like or Stanford to get one of these like, prestigious jobs. There are other jobs besides just Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. What about Red Hat? They need engineers as well. IBM needs engineers, right? People just think of the FANG stocks and automatically think, oh, that's the only place you can work. Like you could be a web developer in a multiple different places. Then what about freelancing? You have freelancing sites like Upwork, freelancing sites like Fiverr, where you can sell your skills. So this idea that somehow like you have to go to some fancy Ivy League school or tech school is just bullshit. It's not true, right? But again, you have to be careful with who you listen to. I'm telling you, there are more open jobs for software developers than there are actually people who have that skill. And that happens across the board in tech. Now, Alexander Wilson says, CompTIA certification or not, 100%. Cybersecurity is big. 100% that you should definitely be looking at those type of certifications, right? Like I would say definitely look at that, right? Entry-level certifications, yeah, 100%. Being a computer technician, that's one of the best places to get involved. Like I keep trying to tell people, start small. Getting involved in tech in general is a daunting task. You're not going to cover this in 1 year, right? It's probably going to take you 3 to 5 years to get to the point where you're proficient and you know which type of frameworks and libraries you like to work with. All of those things take time. Build. Like I was telling one of my students the other day in the academy, they was getting frustrated. Like you're learning a new language. Think about when you were a child. How long did it take you to learn how to walk, then to learn how to talk, then to go and learn the alphabet, then to properly learn how to put together, subject verb agreement? Like that takes time. You think you're going to learn how to, you're literally learning a language. You think you're going to learn a computer programming language in a few months? Come on, it doesn't work that way. And to be proficient enough to the point where you can get a job, no, you should be building your skills over time. And you should be in the phase, your first 3 months should be a testing out phase to see, do I even enjoy this? Do I like this? Again, this is what I see as far as what I see the jobs at. There will be other places where jobs will come as well. Maybe you want to work with technology on the factory line or the assembly line. I'm just sharing with you what I see and where I see the job opportunities at and the job opportunities that can pay you. Remember, I'm just one man with my viewpoint. There are other places where there will be job opportunities as well. Don't limit yourself to just following what I say either, right? Challenge what I say, research what I say, question what I say. Right? I'm no, one man says it all. But again, definitely look into like entry level, cybersecurity certifications, being a PC technician, things of that nature. 100%. Engineers, you spoke the truth. Yeah, 100%. See, one thing about me, I can actually show and prove what I'm saying. Right? Like I'm not missing you things and just talking about things I don't know about. Is my stream buffering, guys? Because I keep seeing my thing buffer real quick. Is my stream buffering? Okay, so looks like I'm good. No one said I'm buffering. But yeah, I've helped 2 people so far in my academy find jobs. Am I okay? It was okay. I'm good now. I've helped 2 people now in my academy find jobs. Yes, they already had some tech skills or they were interested or they were in a proper position to do so. But I'm just saying that I'm not bragging saying I can get everyone a job. I'm just simply saying to you that I know where the jobs are. And if you have the proper skills, I know how to point you in the right direction to find those jobs and get those jobs. Now, it's going to be up to you. I can't get you the job. Only you can get the job. But if you have the skills, I'll be able to point you in the right direction where to go. As I said before, the whole idea about software engineering, I'm telling you, there isn't enough and there aren't enough software engineers. There just isn't. Period. There just isn't. So let me take a couple more questions before I wrap this up. I have a consultation at 6. Thank you everyone for the donations. I hope I was able to answer your questions sufficiently. And again, there's open courseware. You don't have to join My Tech Academy. You have MIT has an open course for YouTube channel. Harvard has CS50 where they teach you the basics about Python, and they teach you the basics about JavaScript as well, and cybersecurity, all of those basic things. And they even have a certificate that you can get from CS50. Let's see what else is here. Java is a hard language to learn. Java is not easy. I feel like JavaScript is easy. That's why I always tell people to start with JavaScript and then transition to Python. Some people say that you should go the other way, start with C++ and then start with Java. I disagree. I think JavaScript is the best way to go first, in my personal opinion. Everything's together, A Patty. The cryptocurrency, the introductory level coding bootcamp. This again, guys, this is just a basic coding bootcamp, really just to give you a framework of what you could do with HTML, what you can do with CSS, and what you can do with JavaScript, right? We're not really building full-scale applications yet. That's going to come in the later courses. Right now, I'm really just teaching people like how JavaScript's an event-driven programming language, how you click a button and something happens and you perform an operation and you have a callback function. Because again, if you understand the fundamentals and you understand that everything in JavaScript is JavaScript's an object-oriented programming language, and everything's an event-driven. Like when you click a button, when you scroll your mouse, when you push the shift key, like all of that's an event. So I'm trying to get people to just wrap their minds around that, and then eventually, if you can get that basic concept, then learning React.js, Vue.js, it's going to be, a breeze in the park because you'll really understand where you're trying to go. That's why I try to tell people, like, some people are struggling with the HTML, CSS part, and I'm just like, you can learn that over the weekend. That's not really. I learned HTML playing around with MySpace. Like, if you had a MySpace page back in the day, you used to play around with HTML. So, that's not hard to learn. You can learn that on your own. Really just understanding the logic and, good programming fundamentals and concepts is what I really try to drive home, so that when you get into the more complex things, you'll at least have a good footing as to where you want to go. Austin Reed says Cornell Tech may have found a DDoS. I'm assuming he says a DDoS attack only requires 21% of the network's mining power. This is horrible as it sounds if it's true. No. I've been in crypto now, guys. I'm an OG. Been involved in crypto now for 8.5, maybe 9 years. I don't know the exact date I started. Listen, whenever we get into a bull market, they're always talking about the quantum computer that's going to crack Bitcoin. They're always talking about how the government's going to destroy it. The NSA created it. They have a backdoor into SHA-256. You keep hearing about all of these different companies like Chainalysis applying for patents that can crack Monero. This is known as FUD. It's meant to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Every week, China's getting ready to ban crypto. They're not going to let Bitcoin mining happen anymore. When you've been around as long as I've been around, I've heard this time and time and time again. It's meant, see, what you have to understand about social media is that traffic, engagement is what makes your content rank. So a lot of these personalities on YouTube, on Twitter, they tweet out things and they say things and they take these provocative, controversial standpoints to drive traffic so that they can then monetize traffic, right? Because there's something known as a click-through rate. So if I can get a certain amount of people, I know that if I can get a certain amount of people to click this link, then I can convert a certain percentage of those people into sales. And if you look at the way ads work online, right, it's all about traffic. So you have to make sure that you are paying attention and not falling down a rabbit hole of people trying to sell you something that doesn't exist, right? Right. So once you understand the fundamental technology and you understand where we're going, you can't stop what's here, right? Because Bitcoin is a language, right? Once you understand that the protocol is a language, you can regulate it, you can make it hard, but you definitely cannot stop it, right? Because you can send Bitcoin transactions through text message. You can send Bitcoin transactions through smoke signals. You can write down Bitcoin transactions. Now, obviously, in theory, it's going to be extremely hard to do so. It would be inefficient. I'm just trying to get you to understand it's a language, right? And then with block streaming and satellite, we have Bitcoin satellites now. So it's like, think about this. If you're going into a fight, you can't expect that you're only going to swing, right? So Bitcoin is swinging. I expect the government to swing back. You should expect that, right? You should not expect that you're going to go out here and try to compete with the big boys and think that they won't hit back. Bitcoin is anti-fragile, right? So if you attack Bitcoin, it gets stronger. Once you understand that, right? Bitcoin withstands attacks, and it's the same thing with Ethereum and DeFi. Every time you see like a smart contract exploit and you see these things happening, Ethereum is able to bounce back better and stronger and add, more features to make it bigger and better. And that's the power of crypto. And so many people don't get that. And with the network effect, with Metcalfe's law, as we get more and more participants and more intelligent people leave Tesla, they leave Apple, they leave Amazon, and they come into crypto, they're going to make the system much more stronger and robust. And they're going to solve problems. Remember, we are in the internet back in 1992, 93, right? That's what crypto is today. The future will be built, right? Someone has to build the scaling solutions. Someone has to build better on-ramps, better stable coins, right? You build it. You be the one to build it. That's the beautiful thing. That's the investment, the proposition, the value proposition, right? Like we have a blank canvas. Build. Go out here and build things, break things. Everything's not going to work out. Build something new. Build something better. That's the power. Build things. Build things, break things, try things. Thank you for the donation. I see Arvel Whitaker. Where do you feel 3D printing fits into the future tech? My brother and I are currently pursuing this. It's already in my skill set as an artist. 3D printing is huge. You can print 3D guns. I don't know if you know about this. And again, I don't want to promote this, but I'll share a link on my in my community tab. 3D printing is huge. I used to trade the 3D printing stocks years ago, but they were on fire, even with the chip stocks. 3D printing is huge and will be major. As far as even food, like if you go on a Great Reset page, they talk about like printing organs, like 3D printing organs. You can 3D print apples, 3D print food. 3D printing is huge. That's another piece of technology that's totally slipped my mind. 100%. 3D printing is going to be big. If you're into that already as an artist, just look at how you can shift and do other things. Like literally, they're 3D printing organs. It's on the Great Reset page. So 100%, yes, that's huge. 3D printing is here to stay. It's only going to get bigger and better, especially once it becomes more like what's the word I want to look for? I would want to say like commercial, like basically people can use them in their home. I don't know the correct word. It slipped my mind. Thank you for the donation, Arvel, and thank you for the donation, TD Hip Hop. But 100%, like 3D printing's huge, big. Like they literally are 3D printing organs. Mainstream. There we go, A Patty. That's what I was looking for. Mainstream. So if you're that's something else I totally slipped my mind, but I want to promote that more too. 3D printing is huge. Like those stocks. I used to make so much money trading those stocks. But I have a consultation at 6:00, so I'm going to wrap up the live stream. Thank you everyone that donated. I truly appreciate it. For those of you who've been donating via PayPal, I will make sure to get to all your questions and everything this weekend. I promise you, I'm going to get it done. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, set it to all. Follow me on Instagram. Shoot me a DM if you have any questions. If you're interested in learning about blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, being a part of our coding bootcamp, we have a free 7-day trial going on right now. If you want to talk about anything business related or investing, you can book a consultation with me. For those of you who are lifetime students, check your email. I sent you out the consultation schedules. You have to respond and then wait to get a confirmation email from me confirming via Zoom when we would have our consultation. And I think that's about it. Oh, yeah, and also join my mailing list so that you could be notified. So with that being said, guys, Have a blessed and beautiful evening. I will see you guys tomorrow. Make sure that you're protecting yourself, you're protecting your health, your mental health, your financial health, and your spiritual health in these trying and troubling times.